Well, it gives you a good basis for life. You got a PhD in reality if you come out of Jersey.
They made us laugh. They made us think. And for a generation, they brought joy into living rooms across America. Their catchphrases became part of our language. Their characters became family. And their shows became timeless. But time moves quickly, and the faces that once defined an era of black sitcoms are now rare treasures, reminders of a golden age that shaped television history. Many of their peers are gone, yet some of these icons remain with us, living testaments to resilience, legacy, and survival in an industry that often forgets its pioneers. Who are the oldest living stars from classic black sitcoms? What lives have they built beyond the spotlight? And how do their stories remind us of a history too important to fade? This is the journey through 20 living legends. Number 1. Marla Gibbs. Marla Gibbs is living proof that resilience can outshine time itself. Best known as Florence Johnston, the wisecracking maid on The Jeffersons, Gibbs stole every scene she touched. She later headlined her own show, 227, cementing her as one of sitcom's greatest queens. But her career wasn't always smooth. Gibbs worked as a United Airlines reservation clerk while starting out in acting, often juggling scripts on her lunch breaks. Hollywood didn't always give her the recognition she deserved, yet she kept pushing. In her 90s, Gibbs is still working, appearing in shows like Blackish, and receiving a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 2021. What's remarkable is her energy. She continues to show up at events, interviews, and red carpets, carrying the same wit and grace fans adored decades ago. Gibbs isn't just surviving, she's still thriving, a living legend who never stopped making people laugh. Number 2. John Amos. John Amos, unforgettable as James Evans Sr. on Good Times, brought raw authenticity to a role that wasn't just comedy. It was truth. His stern but loving father figure resonated with audiences who saw their own struggles mirrored in his performance. Yet behind the scenes, Amos clashed with producers, frustrated by what he saw as stereotypical writing that disrespected black families. His outspoken nature ultimately got him written off the show in one of TV's most shocking exits. But Amos didn't fade. He found success in Roots, earning Emmy nominations and cementing his legacy as more than just a sitcom dad. Over the years, he's appeared in everything from Coming to America to The West Wing. Now in his 80s, Amos continues to act, while also serving as a voice for better representation in Hollywood. His career is a mix of triumph and turbulence, but one thing is clear: Amos never compromised his principles. Number 3. Clarence Williams III. Known for his breakthrough role as Link Hayes on the Mod Squad, Clarence Williams III wasn't just an actor. He was a countercultural icon. With his afro and cool demeanor, he redefined what a black man could look like on television in the late 1960s. Williams didn't stick to typecast roles. Instead, he pursued a wide range of characters, from the eerie father in Purple Rain to guest appearances in Miami Vice and Twin Peaks. He avoided the glitz of Hollywood fame, preferring a private life away from tabloids. Though his career slowed in later years, he remained respected by actors and filmmakers who admired his craft. Still alive in 2025, Williams is rarely seen in public, but his impact on television history remains undeniable. He proved that coolness and depth could exist in a sitcom world that often limited black actors. Number 4. Demond Wilson. Demond Wilson brought sly humor and streetwise charm to Sanford and Son, playing Lamont opposite Red Fox's grumpy Fred Sanford. Their father-son banter made the show one of the most beloved sitcoms of the 1970s. Yet, behind the laughter, Wilson struggled with personal demons. After the show ended, he faced financial troubles, even declaring bankruptcy at one point. Hollywood roles became scarce, but Wilson reinvented himself in a surprising way. He became an ordained minister. Leaving behind the Hollywood spotlight, he dedicated his life to ministry, writing several books and speaking across the country about faith and recovery. Now in his late 70s, Wilson remains a fascinating figure, a sitcom star who walked away from fame to pursue spiritual fulfillment. His story is one of redemption, showing that even sitcom icons can find purpose beyond the stage lights. Number 5. Jeanette Dubois. Jeanette Dubois is remembered not just for her acting, but for the voice that became an anthem. As Willona Woods on Good Times, she was the stylish, sassy neighbor who always had a witty comeback. But it was her voice on the Jeffersons' theme song, "Movin' On Up," that etched her into pop culture forever. Dubois had an impressive career that spanned Broadway, film, and television, with roles in I'm Gonna Get You Sucka and Charlie's Angels, Full Throttle. She also co-founded the Pan-African Film and Arts Festival, giving back to her community while elevating Black art. Despite struggles for recognition, Dubois kept working steadily, becoming a mentor to younger performers. In her 80s, she remains an icon of perseverance and style. Her laughter, her songs, and her vibrant energy keep her legacy alive, proof that sitcom stars can become cultural architects, shaping not just TV, but an entire generation's soundtrack. Number 6. Jimmy Walker. Jimmy Walker's "Die No Might" catchphrase turned him into an overnight sensation on Good Times, but the fame was a double-edged sword. As J.J. Evans, Walker played the goofy, wide-eyed dreamer, but behind the scenes, his rising popularity created rifts with co-stars. Many, including John Amos and Esther Roll, felt the show leaned too heavily on J.J.'s antics, undermining the serious themes they wanted to highlight. Off-screen, Walker pursued stand-up comedy and enjoyed a wave of celebrity, but his career didn't sustain the same momentum. Controversial political comments in later years sparked backlash, yet he remains a fixture on the comedy circuit. Now in his late 70s, Walker is still performing, carrying the weight of a career defined by both laughter and division. His name will always be tied to that one explosive word that made him famous and divided his cast forever. Number 7. Anna Maria Horsford. Anna Maria Horsford brought warmth and heart to sitcoms like Amen and The Wayans Brothers, where she became a familiar face for millions. With her expressive voice and commanding presence, she played mothers, aunts, and caretakers who felt authentic, never just stereotypes. Horsford's career, however, wasn't confined to sitcoms. She appeared in films like Friday and Set It Off, giving her a cross-generational fan base that still quotes her lines today. Off-screen, Horsford has worked tirelessly as an advocate for the arts, uplifting the next generation of Black performers. While she never became a household name like some of her peers, she carved out a reputation as a dependable, talented actress who always delivered. In 2025, she remains active in both film and television, a steady reminder that longevity in Hollywood often belongs to those who work quietly, consistently, and with heart. Number 8. Sherman Hemsley. Sherman Hemsley's George Jefferson was more than just a sitcom character. He was a cultural earthquake. With his strut, sharp tongue, and endless confidence, Hemsley turned the Jeffersons into one of television's most groundbreaking shows. But Hemsley's real life was far less flamboyant. A shy, private man, he often avoided the spotlight, preferring solitude over celebrity. Rumors swirled about eccentric habits and reclusive behavior, which only added to his mystique. Despite those quirks, his comedic timing never faltered, and he remained a steady presence on television well into the 1990s with Amen and countless guest spots. His legacy, however, was complicated by disputes over his estate and finances after his death. Still, in the memories of fans, Hemsley's George Jefferson remains immortal, the loud, brash voice of upward mobility and unapologetic black pride in sitcom history. Number 9. Cheryl Lee Ralph. Before her Emmy-winning turn on Abbott Elementary, Cheryl Lee Ralph was already sitcom royalty. She appeared on Moesha as Dee Mitchell, the stepmother who balanced discipline with empathy. At the time, Ralph's graceful portrayal earned praise for showing a new type of black mother figure on television. But Ralph's career wasn't always smooth sailing. She faced decades of being overlooked, despite her talent on Broadway and in Hollywood. Her resilience kept her moving, though, and she became an outspoken advocate for HIV/AIDS awareness and diversity in entertainment. In 2025, Ralph is finally receiving the recognition she fought for, not just as an actress, but as a cultural leader. She's proof that patience and persistence can pay off, even if it takes decades for Hollywood to catch up. Ralph is no longer the supporting character, she's the star. Number 10. Ernie Hudson. Ernie Hudson might be best remembered as Winston Zeddemore in Ghostbusters, but his sitcom roots run deep. Appearing in shows like The Last Precinct and later recurring roles in Grace and Frankie and Oz, Hudson has been a steady, versatile presence on both the big and small screen. Unlike some of his peers, Hudson rarely found himself in scandal or conflict. Instead, he built a career on professionalism and adaptability. He's the kind of actor who may not always headline, but he always makes a project stronger. In recent years, his role on LA's Finest and continued involvement with the Ghostbusters franchise have kept him in the spotlight. Now in his late 70s, Hudson is still working steadily, proving that sometimes the greatest legacy isn't in explosive fame, but in consistent excellence that spans decades. Number 11. Lawrence Hilton Jacobs. As Freddie Boom Boom Washington on Welcome Back, Kotter, Lawrence Hilton Jacobs became a breakout star, his cool swagger making him one of the most memorable sweat hogs. But sitcom fame was just the beginning. Hilton Jacobs went on to play powerful roles in dramas like Roots, and later portrayed Joe Jackson in The Jacksons, An American Dream. His ability to move seamlessly between comedy and serious roles kept him relevant long after many of his sitcom peers faded. Off-screen, Hilton Jacobs has been candid about the struggles of typecasting in Hollywood, yet he always found a way to push forward. In 2025, he's still acting, still commanding attention with that same presence he had in the 1970s. His career tells the story of an actor who refused to be boxed in by one role. Number 12. Roz Ryan Roz. Ryan lit up sitcom screens in Amen as Amelia Heddebrink, the bubbly church member whose sharp comedic timing made her a fan favorite. But Ryan's talents stretched far beyond television. She became a Broadway powerhouse, starring in productions like Dreamgirls and Ain't Misbehavin'. Her unforgettable voice also made her a standout in animation, most notably as one of the muses in Disney's Hercules. While sitcoms gave her visibility, theater and voice work gave her legacy. Unlike many sitcom stars, Ryan successfully avoided the traps of being pigeonholed, creating a multi-layered career across different mediums. Even now, she's active in the theater world and continues to lend her voice to projects. In 2025, Ryan stands as one of the few sitcom stars who managed to stay versatile, showing the power of talent that can transcend categories. Number 13. Kim Fields audiences. First fell in love with Kim Fields as Tootie on The Facts of Life, rolling around on roller skates and delivering spunky one-liners. She later redefined herself as Regine Hunter on Living Single, bringing sophistication and style to the beloved 1990s sitcom. Fields didn't just stay in front of the camera, she moved behind it, directing episodes of popular shows like Kenan and Kel and Tyler Perry's Meet the Browns. Her career has been a balancing act of acting, directing, and personal life, including a stint on The Real Housewives of Atlanta. Through highs and lows, Fields has remained a survivor in the entertainment business. In 2025, she continues to work in television, embodying a rare success story of a child star who grew up, stayed relevant, and never lost her audience. Number 14. Reginald VelJohnson. As Carl Winslow on Family Matters, Reginald VelJohnson became America's favorite TV dad, his patience tested weekly by Steve Urkel's chaos. VelJohnson embodied warmth and stability at a time when sitcom fathers often fell into cliches. But while Carl Winslow made him beloved, it also defined his career so heavily that breaking away proved difficult. VelJohnson leaned into it, reprising cop and fatherly roles in films like Die Hard and countless television cameos. Unlike some of his peers, VelJohnson embraced the nostalgia, making frequent appearances at fan conventions and reunions. In 2025, he remains a pop culture favorite, still carrying the badge of America's sitcom dad with pride. His legacy proves that sometimes one role is enough to make an actor unforgettable. Number 15. Jo Marie Payton. Jo Marie Payton originated the role of Harriet Winslow on Family Matters, but her story took a dramatic turn. After nearly a decade on the show, she famously walked away before the series ended, frustrated with the shifting focus toward Urkel's antics. Her departure shocked fans, sparking speculation about behind-the-scenes tensions. But Payton didn't disappear. She transitioned into voice acting, lending her talents to The Proud Family and other projects. She also became a mentor to young actors, emphasizing the importance of integrity in Hollywood. Today, she reflects openly on her decision to leave Family Matters, proud of standing her ground. In 2025, Payton continues to make select appearances, her career remembered not just for the roles she played, but for the statement she made by walking away when others would have stayed. Number 16. Jimmy Walker's rivalry with John Amos. Few sitcoms were as joyful on-screen and as tense off-screen as Good Times. The real clash came between Jimmy Walker and John Amos. Walker's breakout as J.J. Evans brought laughs and catchphrases, but Amos believed the character turned the show into a caricature. Their disagreements spilled into the open, with Amos ultimately being written out of the series. Decades later, the tension between the two is still remembered as one of sitcom history's greatest feuds. Both men went on to long careers, but their rivalry became symbolic of a larger struggle between comedy that entertains and comedy that stereotypes. Even now, fans debate who was right, but one thing is clear: the conflict defined the legacy of Good Times as much as its humor. Number 17. Danielle Spencer as Dee Thomas on What's Happening. Danielle Spencer became one of TV's most memorable little sisters, sharp-tongued, funny, and wise beyond her years. But Spencer's life after the sitcom was far from typical Hollywood. Instead of chasing fame, she pursued a career in veterinary medicine, dedicating herself to caring for animals. She faced her share of hardships, including serious health challenges, but Spencer's resilience carried her through. Fans still remember her fondly whenever reruns play, often surprised to learn she traded scripts for stethoscopes. In 2025, she remains a symbol of how child stars can escape the pitfalls of fame by choosing a path away from Hollywood's pressures. Her story is one of balance, proof that sitcom fame doesn't have to define a lifetime. Number 18. Todd Bridges. Todd Bridges, the last surviving main cast member of Diff'rent Strokes, has lived a life filled with both triumph and turmoil. As Willis Jackson, he grew up on America's television screens, but his off-screen struggles with addiction and the law nearly destroyed his career. Unlike his co-stars Gary Coleman and Dana Plato, Bridges managed to turn his life around, seeking sobriety and later becoming an advocate for recovery. His survival makes him both a tragic reminder and an inspiring figure, showing how dangerous child stardom can be and how redemption is possible. In 2025, Bridges continues to act, but his greatest role might be as a living testament to resilience. He's not just the last man standing from different strokes. He's proof that survival itself can be a legacy. Number 19. Glynn Turman. Glynn Turman's career has stretched across decades, from his early role in Cooley High to sitcoms like A Different World. As Colonel Taylor, Turman gave audiences a father figure who was strict but loving, guiding students with both humor and discipline. Beyond sitcoms, his career flourished in drama, with standout roles in The Wire, House of Lies, and films like Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Off-screen, Turman's life has been just as fascinating. He was once married to Aretha Franklin and has remained a respected presence in Hollywood circles. Now in his 70s, he continues to act with the same intensity he had as a young man. Turman represents what longevity in Hollywood can look like when talent meets discipline and determination. Number 20. Clifton Davis. Clifton Davis became a household name as Reverend Reuben Gregory on Amen, the sitcom that blended humor with faith. But Davis's talents extended far beyond acting. He was also a songwriter, penning hits like Never Can Say Goodbye for the Jackson 5. After Amen, he shifted focus to ministry, combining his entertainment skills with his passion for faith. His career became a balance of stage, screen, and pulpit, earning him respect across multiple worlds. In 2025, Davis continues to preach, sing, and occasionally act, embodying a life that refuses to be defined by just one role. His journey shows that sitcom stars can leave Hollywood behind without losing their light. Which of these living legends do you think deserves more recognition today? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your voice could guide our next deep dive. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned as we continue uncovering the stories of the icons Hollywood should never forget.